And Happy New Year, everybody. Well, it's not 20 degrees outside and it's not snowing and it's not raining. I thought maybe today we would talk a little bit about what can you do in the winter garden. We all get cooped up inside. So here's a few of my tips. And I've got my notes so I don't forget anything. I try and write everything down. I have lots of gardening books, so I like to keep notes. So that's number one, I have to say. Keep notes. Write down things. What's working, what didn't work, what do you need to change? When did something bloom? You know, like if you can't remember whenever your peonies bloom and you want to do something that coordinates with it, you need to know when they bloom. So that's number one. Keep track of things. Write things down. Number two, clean up. Branches, that kind of stuff. But don't start doing any pruning. You know, it's time to take down those Christmas decorations. So you can, clean up branches. If you see something's broken, you can take care of that in the winter. Take photos, just like taking notes. Take photos. That way you can see, well, there's a really big hole there, or this needs updating, or that needs updating, or I want to change that out, or you know what, that didn't really do well. I think I'll put something else there. Or I've tried that there for a few years. It's really struggling. Maybe I need to move it to a different location. So just something to think about. Okay. So like I said, get a garden notebook. Start making those notes. Start taking photos, whether it's with a camera, whether it's with your phone, whether you have a drone. Drones are great if you have one or you have a friend who has one, because it gives you a nice overview of your garden. I think if you've seen some of my shots, it really, when I started this garden in 2016, I had a friend who had a drone, put it up. I got a whole overview of what this yard looked like, and that's how I laid out my plans. So it's a great place to start. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. Just take some pictures. Okay, let's say number three. Get your notes organized so when spring comes, you know what you want. Because as soon as the garden center opens, you know what happens. We all go to the garden center because we're like starved for something green and flowering. And then we buy stuff. We don't know where we're going to put it. We don't need it. And we're just like, consume, consume, consume. We have to have more, we have to have those flowers. And that's usually okay with annuals. But if you're going to get perennials or shrubs, number one, it's great to go to garden centers in all different seasons, because then you can see the structure of a plant, you can see the color of a plant, form, function, structure, and things look different in different seasons. If you only go in the spring, you don't know what that plant's going to look like in the fall, and it may be gorgeous in the fall, and that may be its prime time for what it's going to show off in your garden. So, like I said, take some notes with you. What do you want? What kind of things are you looking for? That way you won't go berserk when the garden center opens. Okay. Number four, I think we're at. I'm not sure. Visit other gardens. Maybe go to a botanical garden in the wintertime and the summertime. I live not that far from New York Botanical Gardens. I've been there, been to Brooklyn Botanic Gardens, Tower Hill, Berkshire Botanical Gardens. There are a lot of gardens. There are a lot of regional gardens. You can see, again, does something have a great bark? Does something have a great branching structure? Does something look gorgeous in the winter? Does something bloom in the winter? Do you have hellebores maybe? Where do you see your garden from in the wintertime, or things to think about? So when you visit different garden centers or different gardens, if you can get to other private gardens maybe, it gives you some ideas of things you might want to add to your garden. So let's move on. Okay, let's see, what else do I have here? Make notes of what worked and what didn't work when you're going to these different gardens. Like I said, that way you can make plans. Do you want to add something that's weeping? Do you want to add a conifer? Do you want to add something with great form, or structure or texture? Do you need winter interest in your garden? These are all things. Make notes so when you go visit either botanical gardens, or you go to a nursery center, or you go to a big box store, wherever you get your plants, you know what you're looking for. Okay. Do not prune now. You can get rid of broken branches, but you don't want to start pruning. It's here, it's middle of January. I don't start pruning, let's say, my hydrangea paniculatas till early spring. I'm going to say, depending on the weather, late March, early May, I'll start pruning my paniculatas, not my macrophyllus and stuff. I'm going to coppice some Cannas, smoke bush. I'm going to coppice that, so I'm going to pretty much cut it almost all the way to the ground. You can do that with Dahlia, you can do that with beautyberry, you can do that with salix, red twig dogwood, and I'll show you when I get to that. It's a good time. Are we on 5? Are we on 6? I don't remember. Sharpen all your tools, clean everything, sharpen everything. This is a really good habit to get into, period. You should be doing this all the time, not just, not just once a year. You should get in the habit of doing this every time you come in. If you're going to do some seed starting, you might want to, I'll see if I can put up on the screen. I use Excel. I know a lot of people use Google Docs, but I have a whole Excel sheet that has all my seeds, when they're going to be started. The lines are color coded, so I can see, okay, these are all need to be started 8 to 10 weeks in advance. This color all needs to be started 6 to 8 weeks in advance. So that way I can quickly look at them and see what needs to be started where. Are you doing winter sowing? I'm going to try it again this year. So I'm going to get all my containers cleaned out. I saved all the milk jugs from last year. Thank you to all my neighbors who were collecting milk jugs for me for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's a little weird. We have no snow. We had some snow. It was super cold. Then it was nice, really warm. Today it's like 40 something degrees, but there's no snow. I think part of this is what happened last year to me with winter sowing. Things got buried in snow, and that was fine because that's what should happen. But then it was really warm, really wet, and I think things just did not do well at all with the winter sowing. I'm also going to do regular seed starting inside this year, and I'll show you that when I do it. I've got all my seed starting mix. For winter sowing, you're going to use potting soil, not seed starting mix. I showed you, I have some cool flowers that I already planted outside in the fall. Those are doing okay as of January 1st. So that's something you can start doing. So again, you can get your, all your pots and your tools and all that stuff cleaned up. So another thing that you want to think about, winter interest. This is a perfect time to assess your garden. When it snows, I'm going to do a nice video for you so you can actually see it. Right now, if you ask me, it just looks brown. I mean, thank God there's lots of winter interest in my garden, whether it's structures or conifers, evergreens. I have a lot of different things, but I planted those things specifically for that. Also, the bird feeders, so I can watch the birds and stuff from inside. But this is a good time to evaluate, do you need to add more things for winter interest? This is a perfect time to evaluate that and take a look at what types of winter interest do you want. Like I said, do you want something with a really nice peeling bark, like a 9 bark, like Acergricium, or a river birch? Just, it depends on your zone. I'm in zone, well, they say we're zone 6 now, but truthfully, I think we're still 5B. But, I live on the top of a mountain, and I go 3 miles down to the center of town, and it could be snowing here and it's raining there. So, very different. Okay, let's see what's next. Next on my list. All right, start planning if you need, if you're going to be needing mulch in the spring. You're going to want to put that down before the weeds start germinating. So again, that just depends on your zone. I wouldn't be doing that before the late spring, most likely. But it's so much easier to get mulch down before the plants are already up, because then you're trying to, work around all the plants. So that's another. I think we might be up to 8. Do you need to have a soil test done? Perfect time to do it. Your local extension office can do that for you. Most colleges have some kind of agricultural plan, where you can send stuff. Perfect time to evaluate, is your soil acidic, is it alkaline, do you need more of this, do you need more of that? All right, let's see, next. Again, make notes all year long along with your photos, so you have things to refer back to. Another is fertilize, get some fertilizer. This might be a good time to start picking that stuff up, like Plantone. Might be cheaper now. Some stuff I'm finding is hard to find. I actually, in preparation for winter sowing, I realized I had no container soil, no potting soil, and no vermiculite, which I use both for winter sowing. All I have is bags and bags and bags of seed starting, which is no good for that. So I actually had to order it from my local nursery. But again, if you're looking for something particular that you don't find when you go to, whether it's a big box store or your local nursery, ask them. They might be able to order it for you. And lastly, I've got to say, be patient. Spring will come, whether you wanted to or not, I'm actually a huge winter lover for the most part. We used to ski all the time. I can't ski anymore because I've had 2 back surgeries now and I just had a knee replacement. So I'm happy just to be gardening, so I'm not complaining. So I'm enjoying my garden, I'm watching the birds, but spring will come and we'll have a lot of tasks to get to as soon as that happens. So take the breather. Enjoy it, read a book. I'd love your comments. Please leave them below. Please subscribe. Like the video if you find this interesting, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.